please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Conversation. The ICICI Bank Videocon loan case has conflict written all over it. A scathing statement coming in from former SEBI chief M. Damodaran as he opens up on the recent controversy surrounding banks. Speaking on Shikha Sharma's tenure at Axis Bank, he says that he won't second-guess the RBI's decision if the regulator thinks she should go. Here's an excerpt of that chat.
I don't think it's about singling out anyone. What they would have considered would be a totality of circumstances. Asset quality certainly would be at the top of the list. They would have looked at how asset quality has deteriorated over time and whether any steps have been taken to put in place recovery measures. Has a problem been arrested? Is it on the decline? So this is a call that a regulator has taken. Mind you, she's done 3 terms of 3 years each and will be doing another term, so it's a good 10 years. And if the RBI believes that it is time for a leadership change based on all these factors, I wouldn't for one second guess the RBI on this.
Sure. You're saying that we shouldn't second guess the RBI and that the regulator often conducts its business in confidentiality, and it's not necessarily fair to expect that this is done in public. But what about the board? And I'm asking you specifically about the board of Axis Bank, because in December, if they reappoint Shikha Sharma for a tenure of 3 years, given the apprehensions then expressed by the Reserve Bank, should the board then not have been more transparent? I mean, it looks like the board is capitulated in light of what the Reserve Bank has said, perhaps not put up a strong enough defense for why it chose to give her a 3-year term in the first place. What does that speak in terms of the board?
Well, there are 3 players in this. There is the RBI, there is Shikha Sharma, and then there is the board. I think the RBI, what I think of what it has done, I've already shared with you. As far as Shikha Sharma is concerned, she was given a 3-year term, and now she has volunteered that she will step down in December. And I think that is something that you cannot fault, because she could have continued till May of next year, going on the reduced 1-year term. She's chosen not to do that, giving enough time to the bank to find a successor.
Let me now move from Access to talk to you about the other development, and that has to do with ICICI Bank. Once again, this is a matter that was first brought to light in 2016. The action from an investigative agency perspective has only started now. Do you believe that it was right or appropriate for the ICICI Bank board to come out in support of Chanda Kochhar before the investigation has been concluded? Do you believe that it would be prudent for Chanda Kochhar to perhaps take a leave of absence till the investigation concludes?
To my mind, it has conflict written all over it. At what stage did the MD and CEO get to know? Now, the husband says, he says, and his statement is in the public domain, I did not inform her till the gentleman resigned from my board. Are we buying that statement from him? Let the investigative agencies make up their mind. I don't think I should anticipate what the investigative agencies will come up with on that one. I think there are far too many things that make you feel uncomfortable. It's disquieting, to use a very, very mild word. And board should have appointed an independent inquiry authority, an independent, not do its own inquiry. No. Because there are stakeholders, there is reputation management. This can be done only by conducting an impartial inquiry.
Right, so the ICICI Bank Videocon case has controversy, conflict written all over it, says the former SEBI chief M. Damodaran. But in the backdrop of that case, markets have been flooded with rumors of a potential meeting between officials of LIC and the government. Now, remember, LIC holds 10% stake in ICICI, so is a crucial decision maker. Sapna Das joins us now with exclusive details from there. Sapna, what are you picking up?
Hi, Arif. Well, first of all, a very strong indication coming from government quarters that no such meeting has been held between the government and LIC on the ICICI Bank matter. Perhaps what is of more significance is the fact that basically we have been told that this is an issue that lies squarely between the investigative agencies which are doing their work as of now. Reserve Bank of India, which has the call, it has the power to take a call on management changes, as well as the ICICI Bank board. So it's clearly between the three of them. Last but not the least, if anything at all, probably it's a regulator that will have to call the shots, and probably the bank board will take the call, will take that direction or whatever that comes through from the regulator forward. So this is what the position is as of now, and the government completely appears to be at arm's length, and probably that's the way it should be. Last not the least, last month sometime, Reserve Bank governor had made the statement that in terms of the private sector banks, at least in terms of the management calls, the regulators has far more flexibility and is far more empowered because the government is not a direct shareholder in any of these banks. So probably, the ball is in RBI's court. We have to just wait and watch and see what really transpires, and also keep in mind what the investigative agencies throw up.
Right, absolutely, Sapna. So there you have it. Sources telling Sapna that they're denying, in fact, that there is no meeting being held between the LIC and the government so far. But shifting focus to the day's market action, it has been a range-bound day of trade on the Lal Street as indices inched higher from their previous lows. The Nifty reclaimed the 10,400 mark and the Sensex gained about 100 points, while bank stocks mildly outperformed with gains of 0.5%. Mid-caps underperformed with gains of just 1/5%. Anuj Singhal joins us now with the wrap of the day's trading action. Anuj, seems like bulls are back on a firm footing.
Well, good day for the bulls, the Bank Nifty bulls at least. The markets are doing quite well. Corporate banks were doing well in particular, though HDFC Twins were down and they sort of capped the market's gains. Stock of the day today was Axis after news that Shikha Sharma's tenure will be cut short, and ICICI Bank too has been rallying for a couple of days, so that one also gained ground today. Other index gainers today included names like L&T, Bharti Airtel and SBI. Metals did well, commodities in general, so Hindalco, Tata Steel, Vedanta, Coal India, all these stocks were higher. On the losing end, the HDFC Twins and Tata Motors put some pressure on the market, along with Bajaj Finance and Finserv. In the F&O space, there were some big gainers, particularly from the NBFC space, Shrey Infra and Manappuram. And Balrampur Chini, though of the highest point, that also rallied a bit in trade today. All in all, the markets have rallied a lot. Today's high is also hugely important resistance for the market. 10,427 was the last top for the market. So it will be interesting if we can cross that and make a higher top for the first time in 2018. That would change a lot of things and perhaps force more short covering. But let's see if we can do that, because we are sitting on 4 to 5 back-to-back gains days. So let's see if tomorrow we can continue with that.
Right, thanks Anuj for bringing us all the details from the day's market action. But on that note, we'll slip into a short break. Coming up next, a special debate on why angel tax has become a big deterrent for India's startup community. Stay tuned for that.
Well, the big debate this evening: for the last few years, India's startups have been demanding the removal or the modification of a tax structure which has come to be known as the angel tax. This was introduced in Section 56 of the Income Tax Act in the budget of 2012. Now, according to the clause, the taxman is free to treat an investment made into a startup as income if it exceeds the company's fair market value. The taxman argues that funding above the market value should be considered income and asks why would anyone make a higher investment in a company if the value is much less. Companies argue that valuations are subjective. There are different methods to calculate valuation, and that a company should not be punished if its performance does not match with the initially projected valuation. Now, last week, we learned from sources that the government might look at some sort of exemption by investments that have been made by individuals in certain startups. In fact, speaking to us at the India Business Leader Awards, Finance Secretary Hasmukh Adia confirmed that a discussion on the issue was in fact underway. Listen in.
Mr. Adia, let me ask you this, and we've got a lot of startups here in the room. There was the expectation that there would have been some sort of a clarification, especially angel investments that are coming in to startups and Section 56, and there have been conversations on between the CBDT and the DIPP since the budget and even ahead of the budget. What can we expect, sir? Because there's a lot of startups who are in genuine pain.
Well, those startups which are recognized by DIPP, those startups are already exempted from Section 56. So that's one class of startup which is already exempted. But there are others about when, so there is a discussion going on between CBDT and DIPP. I'm not aware of the latest status of what happened to that. But we can expedite it and we'll see what best we can do.
Well, that is the Finance Secretary. Now, even as startups await clarity and some relief on the angel tax issue, many of them continue to receive notices from the Income Tax Department. To continue our discussion on this issue, joining us now, Srijit Mulyal, co-founder of True Elements, and S. Junaid Sheikh, the CEO of Radoratory Technologies. Srijit and Junaid, appreciate you joining us. You just heard the Finance Secretary there. As we've been reporting, there have been discussions that have been underway between the CBDT and the DIPP. Clarity is still awaited. Srijit, I know that startups are looking at the possibility of legal recourse as well. Where do things currently stand? How much is the pain now?
Shirin, thanks for allowing us on board. And what Finance Secretary has told is not what the real fact on the ground is. As on 13th March, all of us, all the startups registered, 8,600 plus startups registered in DIPP, got a startup kit which clearly mentions that the DIPP certification will not be considered for Section 56 exemption, and the startups need an IMB certification, which is what we are contesting, because the classification or qualification to get an IMB certification is the startup need to be innovative. And if you're telling that only an innovative startup can raise an angel investment, then we are not talking about Startup India. So I think there is some, at least what the document which all of us have got, which is what Finance Secretary is telling is two different stuff. Because we have got a startup kit which clearly mentioned that if you need an angel tax exemption, you need an IMB certification. That's one. And subsequently to your question, so after this startup kit which we received, we actually were waiting for a positive response from the government, which didn't come through. And after this startup kit, all of us have approached lawyers to file a PIL, because otherwise we don't see any hope in the end of the tunnel. Because we have founders who are exploring to move out of the country. There is a founder whose bank account has been frozen. There is a founder whose angel investor is asking for an indemnity to be signed in case if an angel tax comes in, it will not be carved out from my funds and it will be carved from the company. So this is the ground reality. This is what we are facing.
Okay, you're saying that the startup kit that all of you have received basically causes more confusion. It hasn't given any clarity, and you're saying that the interministerial board's certification is required to get the waiver from Section 56. You said you're also looking at the possibility of a PIL. What have legal experts told you? What is the legal opinion that you've got so far say?
We are getting a mixed response. We are not getting a clear-cut idea because we are here questioning a law, right? As of now, whatever the CBDT notification and the Act says, that we need to get an IMB certification. And what we are trying to question through the legal system is that an innovation, which is the qualification criteria for IMB, applicable for all the startups? Will it be counterproductive for startups? So we are not getting a from lawyers. We have spoken to 3 lawyers in Bombay, and we are trying to file it in Bombay High Court. So that's why we are stuck, because we are not getting a clear-cut positive response. And last Friday we heard that government is reconsidering the overall structure. So we are going ahead with the legal, but hoping before that something comes through. Otherwise, because we need to file this by the end of April, because all of us have got notices as of December end, and we were supposed to file an appeal, which we did, without paying the 20%, and beyond 2 months we will not get a leeway. So that means by end of April, most of our company accounts could get frozen. So that means the time we have is next 20 days. So either we get a positive response from government, or we need to go the legal way. So we still haven't got a clear-cut answer from lawyers. So as probably...
Sure. Junaid?
Yeah, so I was asking...
Junaid, let me come to you now. As Srijit was pointing out that you have about 20 days now, and of course the hope is that there will be some clarity that will come in from the government by then, but if not, then a PIL is possibly what you are looking at. Junaid, give me a sense of the kind of pain that your company is faced with.
Yeah. Hi, Shireen. So just recently, we signed a term sheet with an investor who is committed in funding us. But as a founder, I have to protect investors' money and see that all of the money is spent on building and growing the business. And therefore, our company can be a part of growth story of India. But the ground reality is different, and so investor is not investing the money to pay tax again on top of his income tax, right? It doesn't make any sense. I'm not sure what to do, whether to take funding now and get slapped with a notice, or wait for a change in law, which again is very difficult for us as startups, because we have to move at rocket speed to spread into the market, because startup world is very competitive. And government will say that we have to, startups should raise money from venture capital firms. But it's important to understand that this is coming to play at a later stage, not at seed stage. And second thing, what I want to ask was, see, IMB says that it gives tax benefits for startups who they consider as innovative, right? But innovative, yes. But innovation is again kind of subjective, Shireen. Innovation means different things for different people. So what they think is innovative, it shouldn't be like that, right? So that's what
have either of you tried to apply for the IMB certification?
Yes.
Junaid, let me start by asking you.
Yes. My certification is currently in process. Yes.
Same with us, Shireen. So we were the group of 18 startups which the Finance Ministry was considering as case studies to understand this case better. So all of us have been in consideration for IMB certification. But the scarier part is, of the 3,600 plus startups who were considered for IMB certification, in last 86 have got the certification. Okay, that means the rest all startups will have to pay the angel tax. Okay, that's where the problems are. For example,
so how long, Srijit, how long has it been? But how long has it been since you applied for the IMB certification?
So IMB committee sits once in a month, around 15th of every month. So they pick up cases from their internal groups, or else they directly get applications for IMB certification. In our cases, all of our cases were picked up last month, so they should be sitting on those cases this month. Hopefully, if they will look at our cases this month.
Okay, well, let's hope that there is some sort of clarity that emerges from the government. We are given to understand that the CBDT and the DIPP are in discussion. Srijit and Junaid, appreciate you joining us here to discuss the pain that's being felt across startups in the country, and we'll, of course, keep you updated on the developments. For now, thanks very much for joining us here on CNBC TV18. Arif, back to you.
Right, thanks Shireen for taking us through that conversation. And on that note, it's a wrap on this edition of After the Bell. Thanks for joining us at this hour.